What's going on, my PT peeps and my Walking Dead family? Welcome to the PT channel. I'm One Eye Brian. I'm back to talk about Stranger Things. Spoiler warning for the entire series of Stranger Things, especially season 3 that came out yesterday, 4th of July, 2019. I watched the entire season that came out yesterday, and I thought it was very, very good. I'm going to talk about it, discuss it, review it, as well as connect some of the things that may have happened in prior seasons. I got questions and the post-credit scene of season 3, and what does it mean? Like I said, season 3 of Stranger Things was very, very good. Much better than season 2. We'll talk about that in a second. But season 1 was great. Season 2 was like, I don't know about this. Season 3 was pretty awesome. But season 3 was something that was different for the show, but also very familiar. I did like the whole mall aspect. It takes place in the 80s, which I love. I'm an 80s kid, so I love seeing the nostalgia and Orange Julius and Sam Goody and The Gap and this, and it's like great, right? Then it was all about 4th of July and summer vacation, and it was very smart that it came out on 4th of July, and it was about 4th of July in the summer. We were like, okay, man, we were like there, right? We were right there. But as I look at the picture, it's pretty telling after watching the season. And I highly enjoyed the season for a variety of reasons, but it did have a good feel for the 8 episodes. It's only 8 episodes, but at the end of it, I was like, all right, I'm ready for it to end. And 8 episodes is not a lot, but every episode has something different and a little feel to it and something different. And it starts really with Eleven and Mike together, and we knew that was going to happen, right? But the group is kind of split up in a couple groups. You got this group, then you got Dustin and Steve and Robin, and then you got Hopper and Joyce, and they're kind of all over the place, and then they finally get together, and it's nice to have them together at the end, but it's like the last episode, you're like, oh man, I kind of wish the group was a little more together. As for the villain, or villains, I should say, Billy in this scene here was kind of weird. It was like, what am I watching here? But Stranger Things does a good job with explaining things and having things happen for a reason and done for a reason. You never really could like Billy. I didn't really. But then you kind of felt bad for him at the end where he was saving Eleven and then he gets ripped apart, and it's pretty awesome. But Billy was possessed the entire season, so he really wasn't himself. And it was pretty crazy how strong he was when he was possessed fighting Eleven. And you're like, oh man. And when Billy was fighting Eleven, the whole time I was like, guys, help him out. Help Eleven out. What are you doing? Eleven needs help. And the whole Dustin thing and Susie was pretty great. And the never-ending story was just great. And I kind of miss Dustin with the group. But Steve and Dustin together was also great this season. And I love the nostalgia of the food and the products and the stores. And the dynamic with Hopper and Joyce. And yes, Winona Ryder's character is Joyce, even though probably everybody watching is like, Winona Ryder. Oh, I like Winona Ryder. And I like Winona Ryder in this part too. She was definitely a good character for this entire series and definitely this season that continue on. But their whole dynamic, are they, aren't they? Are they ever going to get together? I guess not. And I wonder where Winona Ryder is going with Eleven at the end of the season. That's interesting. Hopefully we'll get a season 4. As for Eleven, she's still a badass character. I love the character a lot. I love just how she doesn't know about life, and she's learning everything that she can, and she's super powerful. And the time at the mall was interesting. But I had to say, how are they buying the clothes? Do they have money? She was like, oh, I like this style, I like this shirt. And she brought like a couple outfits. Does Eleven have money? I don't know, right? I couldn't help but to think of that. And there's certain things in the season that's like, well, what? That's convenient. Or how did that happen? I got questions, I guess, because I'm an adult. And the show is definitely geared towards teens and that demographic, as it's TV 14. And so I'm guessing it's really made for 14-year-olds and up. But again, I'm a child of the 80s, so I love seeing the nostalgia of the movies and the older stuff there. The malls, they were the big thing. Now malls are kind of dying, but it's just interesting that they covered it in a great light. And I love all the callbacks and connections with Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And I love the Scoops Ahoy. It was hilarious. And I feel bad for Steve and Robin. They had to wear these outfits the entire season, which is pretty terrible, right? And nowadays, it's probably not a big deal about Robin and her sexuality, but on the show, it's based in the 80s. So again, that would be huge back in the 80s, but I liked Robin. I thought she was a great addition to the cast. Hopefully she sticks around, and I hope the way they ended it, they'll be working at the movie store there for season 4 if we ever get that. But the dynamic of Dustin and Steve and Robin and Erica was very entertaining. It was interesting for sure. And the whole thing with like they can take down a Russian scientist, Russian operation is pretty much like the Goonies and that 80s feel like we can do anything. As kids, we can do it all. People aren't going to hold us down. No one's going to hold us down, and definitely not parents and definitely not anyone. But Erica was interesting because she was annoying, she was smart, she was funny, but that character has come a long way. And in season 3, she's 10 years old. What are you doing at the mall at 10 years old by yourself? That's pretty poor parenting, in my opinion. As for Winona Ryder, she wasn't so stressed out this season. In season 1, she's like super stressed the entire time. She's like, Will, lights, what's going on? I don't know. And now she's trying to figure out stuff. And she was like, man, that's pretty cool. But where is she going at the end of season 3 with Eleven and Will? And I just want to know where they end up. You have to remember who's connected to who and who's the parents of who and who's the brother and sister. And it's like, all right, I have to kind of remember some of this stuff too. Like for at some point you're like, oh, that's the mom of Mike and Nancy. And I'm like, oh, I forgot that. But it's pretty easy to connect the dots. I do love where the series has come from season 1 to season 3. And I just love this shot right here of season 1. This was also the same quarry that was used in The Walking Dead. It wasn't in season 3, but I just love the connection and where the show has come from. I did love the Day of the Dead movie that was playing in the movie theater. I was like, oh yeah, that was 1985. And I love that they were checking out Back to the Future. Pretty cool stuff. I love the 80s. I'm an 80s kid, so it's always great to see the different products in the movies and how it connects in a TV show. You can't go wrong with that, that's for sure. But I thought and hoped that we would see this group again, especially the 11 type girl that was in season 2. And I was like, yeah, maybe they're going to come back and team up because the villain was so strong and they had so many people there and so many things that they may need some help. But it didn't happen. So season 2 was like, what did they do? What are they doing here? It makes no sense to the great scheme of things. And maybe it will in season 4 if we get that. But maybe I got to go watch season 2 again to really connect it. But I'm like thinking to myself, why did this happen in the story of Stranger Things? It was almost like filler and they didn't know what to do with this. But I do not recommend to be a character in Stranger Things that starts with the letter B. Barb, Bob, and Billy, and maybe some other people. We don't lose that many characters in the seasons of Stranger Things. We lose a couple. We lost Barb in season 1, Bob in season 2, and I did like seeing Bob again with the flashbacks and the connections and how Joyce saw Bob and she was still thinking about Bob. And I thought it was a nice touch. As for Billy, I'm not going to miss Billy one bit. Season 2, he's definitely a villain. He's definitely not a nice guy. And in season 3, it continues on. But he's kind of possessed. And either way, he's doing some terrible, terrible things. But he's gone either way. As for the ending, it was interesting. Wait, let me talk about the Terminator type guy. That was the Russian guy, all in black, who killed Alexei and was fighting Hopper and beat up Hopper. And then Hopper, he was dangling there with the guy had his foot on Hopper's neck and he's going close and the machine's spinning. And then Hopper throws him into it and then Hopper gets stuck there. But the Russian military guy, to me, felt a lot like Terminator 1 in many aspects, which is an 80s movie. As for Hopper, I love this guy. I think he's one of the best characters of the entire series. Did he actually die? Or is he trapped in the Upside Down? Was he the American in the post-credit scene? So if you haven't seen it yet, definitely watch all of the episodes and then go to the very end of the last episode and there's a big post-credit scene that sets up season 4 in my opinion, and they talk about the American. Is it Hopper? Is it someone else? I'll talk about that in a second. As for the Demodog that's in the post-credit scene, what does it mean? Does it mean we're definitely getting a season 4? Is it going to be the Upside Down kind of connecting point? Is that where Hopper went? And either way, I'd be down for a season 4, that's for sure. But they put a lot of effort, emphasis, and time in the Hopper goodbye note to 11 and just the goodbye to Hopper. Hopper never got to say goodbye to everybody, but people missed him. 3 months later, and we were like, man, what happened with Hopper and his Magnum PI shirt? Hopefully you got the connecting point there. But I feel like the American in the post-credit scene that we don't get to see, it's a person that's locked up in a cell because they grab a Russian person, they feed it to the Demodog, could be either Hopper or Murray, which is the guy that's standing behind Hopper in this picture. But it depends what the writers want to do. Are they going to have Murray be a point of emphasis in season 4 if they have that? Or is Hopper coming back? I'm good with it either way. I do like Murray. I do like Hopper. I hope they come back for season 4, but ultimately I love season 3. 8 episodes is definitely enough. And even though I love the content and I would love 10 episodes or 13 episodes, I feel like 8 episodes and the pacing of it and the story of it is definitely what the show needed. I'm glad they did 8 episodes, and it's definitely a show that you can watch in a day. Every episode is about just under an hour or a little over an hour. So that's about 8 hours, and you'll be done with a season of a great show. So let me know your thoughts. Post your comments below. It's just my quick review after I watched it yesterday. I'll probably watch it a little bit more and check out some things and have some more videos coming up. But like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Please hit that subscribe button, become a member of our PT channel family. And remember, with hard work, dedication, belief, and sacrifice, you can truly achieve your goals. Believe in yourself. You can do it. It's about love, support, staying positive, making memories, and as always, tell them Daryl.
Yo, we love you guys. Honestly, thank you.